This activity is called a source search. It's traditionally completed as a relay race, as shown in the photo, and that is how you conduct it with your students. However, due to the small numbers at each satellite location, you will participate in a modified source search right at your table. In the source search bag, you will find 4 orange cards labeled Store, Factory, Farm, and Natural Resource. Lay out the orange cards on your table in a straight line. Additionally, in the bag, you will find a stack of cards featuring pictures of everyday items. Without looking at the items, divide the cards equally among your group. Next, you will sort the cards as quickly as possible into the major orange card category that you believe to be the source of each everyday item. Do not spend too much time analyzing each card. Remember, this would traditionally be ran as a relay race. Additionally, do not ask each other what you think the source of an item is. Work individually and as quickly as possible. You can now pause the video and sort your cards. When you finish sorting all of your cards, resume play. Once all the cards are distributed into the piles on the orange cards, take a moment to line the items out in a single file line above each orange category card as shown in the picture. This will make it easier to spot each one of the items in our debrief after you are finished. Now that you've completed sorting your cards, how confident do you feel in your selection? We're now going to go through each item. As I explain its source, move it to a pile on the opposite side of the orange card from your original pile, as shown here. Cameras are made of plastic. But what is plastic? Plastic is a non-renewable resource that's derived from petroleum. We get petroleum from drilling into the earth. This makes plastic a natural resource. Salt is a natural resource. It's mined from the earth. Search Redmond, Utah salt mines sometime. Salt also used to be used as a currency they paid Roman soldiers with. That's why the phrase, "Are you worth your salt?" came about. We also get salt in a process called desalinization, in which we remove the salt, through evaporation, from salt water. The number 1 ingredient in Golden Puffs is wheat, which we farm. The main components of this computer are metal, glass, and plastic. Metal is mined, glass is melted down sand, and plastic is a derivative of petroleum, all of which are natural resources. Sausage is made from pork, which we farm. You can find hogs naturally in the wild, but to get them in the quantity that we need, year-round like we desire, we need to farm them. This watch is made from metal. Metal is mined out of the earth, so it's a natural resource. The source of this shoe depends on whether it is cheap or expensive. The cheaper shoe will be composed of plastic, a derivative of petroleum, which would make it a natural resource. If it's an expensive shoe, it's going to be made out of leather, which means it comes off the farm. The number 1 ingredient in bread is wheat, which we farm. The metal in this sink came from mining, so it's a natural resource. All the components in this Raisin Bran cereal have come off the farm. This Band-Aid appears to be made out of plastic, which again is petroleum, which makes this Band-Aid a natural resource. Now, if you want this Band-Aid to be a fabric Band-Aid instead, the fabric would be made out of cotton, which comes off the farm. This fleece sweater appears to be acrylic. Do you know what acrylic is? Acrylic, spandex, and rayon are all plastic, which is a derivative of oil, making this sweater a natural resource. These jeans are made out of cotton. Cotton comes off the farm. Fruit comes off the farm. It does exist naturally. If you go up to Oregon, you'll find the blackberries are almost like weeds. However, to get the quantity of fruit we desire, year-round like we desire, we farm it. All of the components for this hamburger came off the farm. The number 1 ingredient in cat food is usually some type of meat, followed by a type of grain. Both of those components come off the farm. The main components of this coffee maker are plastic, a derivative of oil, and glass, which is made from melted down sand, both of which are natural resources. If you thought it was the coffee inside, that coffee would come off the farm. French fries come off the farm, probably the farm in Idaho. This slightly outdated cell phone is made out of metal, plastic, and glass, all of which are natural resources. Cows are farmed. Wood is a natural resource, but again, the issue is quantity. To have enough wood to use in the quantity that we desire, we farm it, and we carefully manage our forest in a practice called silviculture. Ever heard of Easter Island or read the book The Lorax? That's what happens when you don't take care of your natural resources. So you need to put wood in the farm. When I ask people what the number one ingredient in mayonnaise is, they usually say eggs. Eggs is actually number 2. Number 1 is oil, usually soybean oil or another vegetable oil. So we're going to put mayo in the farm. Eggs are farmed. Ice cream's components come from the farm. These tomatoes came off the farm. If you thought it was the metal can, you can put it in the natural resource bin. The main components of this SUV are metal, which is mined, plastic, a derivative of oil, and glass, which comes from sand, all of which are natural resources. All the components of this pizza came off the farm. Toilet paper is a byproduct of wood. This makes it farmed. The chocolate in these M&Ms comes off of the farm. All the components in this salad are from the farm. When I ask the number one ingredient in Dr. Pepper, people usually say sugar. However, sugar's only number 2. The number one ingredient in Dr. Pepper is water, so I guess we'll have to call this a natural resource. All the components to this cookie are from the farm. You guessed it, this milk came off the farm. My first question when wondering about the source of this basketball, is it cheap or is it expensive? If it's expensive, it's made out of leather. If it's cheaper, it's probably made out of plastic, which comes from oil, which makes it a natural resource. So is this purse cheap or expensive? If it's cheap, it's made out of plastic, which comes from oil, making it a natural resource. If it's expensive, it's probably made out of leather, which comes off the farm. All the ingredients for this V8 came off of the farm. This metal pocket knife was mined out of the earth, so it's a natural resource. Water is a natural resource. We have a finite amount that just keeps continually circling through the water cycle. The wool in this coat came from a sheep off of a farm. As you can see, the source of all of our everyday items is either the farm or natural resources, although technically we could put the farm inside of the natural resources because without the earth we wouldn't have anything. So what happened to our store and our factory? They both end up empty because they are the source of nothing. The factory is a place where raw materials are put together to become a product that then gets transported to and distributed in the store. The store is only a distribution center, but again, it's the source of nothing. You're used to seeing this exact same teaching tool done a different way. Can you think of a name for it? What it is a graphic organizer, or in this case, more specifically, a kinesthetic graphic organizer. So instead of sorting things into categories with pen and paper, we've actually done it by moving around, which I find to be both entertaining and effective. Can you think of other ways that you could use this teaching tool in your classroom to categorize content from another discipline? How about science? There are a lot of items we sort in science: living, non-living, which is in the 3rd grade core, vertebrates, invertebrates, deciduous or evergreen trees, types of rocks. How about math? Real or imaginary? Whole numbers or fractions? Prime or composite? What about English? Parts of speech? Noun, verb, adverb? Complete and incomplete sentences? What about history? Civil War leaders, Union versus Confederacy, continents versus countries, Native American civilizations and their attributes. This graphic organizer transcends subject areas, and you can use it just about anywhere. Those were only a few examples. However, this can be so much more than just a graphic organizer. Can you use it in another way in your classroom? How about as an assessment? You could do this as a pre-assessment to find out what they know, and you could also run it again as a post-assessment. My favorite thing about using it as a post-assessment is that I don't have to sit there and physically grade it after school. Instead, I can stand by the tubs as they throw them in, and I can do a spot check to find out if the majority of the students are wrong. I need to stop and have a whole group reteach. If only one student's getting it wrong, I can individually work with that student later to see what I've missed. This concludes the source search. Thanks for participating. For this and other great classroom resources, visit utah.agclassroom.org.